Hello tankers and tankettes, time for another gameplay commentary. Today I'm going to do one for this little fella, the 1375, a French tier 7 light tank. Not that different from its predecessor, the 12T. Now, obviously, if you've played the game for more than 5 minutes, you'll know that the French tanks, once you get past a certain point, are a little bit different from the rest of the pack because they're autoloaders. And there's nothing really else in the game there's no kind of halfway house that really prepares you for quite how the autoloaders are going to play. Now, at the low tiers you get some autocannons, guns with clips, but the reload speeds are such that I think with the exception of the Panzer IIG and the Lux with that 3cm gun, you get some flavour of the shot management that's required, the kind of planning that has to go into playing a tank with an exceptionally, what amounts to an exceptionally long reload time. So we're here on El Halluf. I can't promise you this is going to be an amazing match, but it's kind of. I found this with the 12T as well. I had one particularly entertaining match, but sadly it's from a previous patch, so I can't record that one. But I ended up with Fadin's medal. I killed a tiger with the last shot in the tank, basically. That was quite fun. This one won't be nearly so good, but I think it's a fairly good. I mean, it shows you kind of how these things play. Probably shows you how inept I am at playing them as well, if nothing else. So yeah, we're here at El Halluf. It's not a good map for scouts. You can see our other scout tank, a Leopard, just died to no avail. This is actually good matchmaking for a 1375. It's tier 8 max. You can see up to tier 10s in this thing. So this was, I mean, right off the bat, okay, it's El Halluf, but it's also quite favourable matchmaking. So I've been a bit bold. I've pushed down to the cover here because there's no artillery to worry about in this match. And I've already, I don't know if I spotted these guys or if the people on the ridge spotted these guys, but I'm here to provide, I can provide some fire support if this Panther pushes out. And he doesn't. He just sits there and gets annihilated. And to be honest, I don't know what that Panther was thinking, trying to get up there at this early stage of the game. He was just begging to be blown up, and he was. Now you'll see I'm struggling a bit here with I'm probably just about at maximum gun elevation. This is a problem all the French autoloaders, and I suspect the Americans autoloaders as well, as they have terrible gun elevation. And I think the gun depression on the Americans is a bit less bad. But yeah, you don't play autoloader tanks for their gun elevation or depression. So we're, on a map where there's this two big areas of high ground and this low ground that runs all through the middle. And the gun it's a 75mm gun, and you're a tier 7, and okay, up against all the mediums and things, as we'll see here, I managed to damage this T-43. But sitting and sniping is not an option, so what I've just done here is, depending on your viewpoint, either incredibly ballsy or incredibly stupid. Possibly both at the same time. So I got very, very lucky just then. My tracks ate a tiger shot, which will turn out to be crucial later, that I didn't take out any damage from that guy. So I put one or two shots into this T-43. That was a stupid one to attempt, really, and that one just fails to connect or anything. You really do have to plan your shots with this, and you have to not waste shells, because quite aside from the fact that you've got a big long reload and you only get 6 shots at a time, and once you're reloading, that's it, you're effectively helpless. You've also got quite a limited load of ammunition. Now obviously these things, I mean, the 1390 is a tank that was actually built, and this is basically a 1390 with a different gun. and it's a tier lower, and you get a bit less health points and that kind of thing. But they basically had to reload the drums from the outside of it. So it's at least it's not that bad. You don't have to sit immobile while your crew reloads. You can drive around still, but even so, you have to be so careful with your shots. And you can see, well, I'm not especially. I don't play as well as I could do, and you know, I'm not kidding when I say I don't have the hang of these things yet. But I'm have done better in the lights than I have with the heavies, because I had a 5100 for a while. Basically sold it because I couldn't hack it, and I knew I wasn't good enough to play it, and I was just being frustrated trying to play it. And I've actually gone back to that now. I've rebought that tank, and I think I'm probably a better player at this stage as well. So I would throw that cautionary note in as well for anyone. I know this thing is as of well, it's July 2013 now, and it's Tank of the Month, and there's a lot of players driving around in these things. But having said that, you've got to go through the 12 teeth first. So yeah, I don't think this is a tank for inexperienced players. I don't think any of the autoloaders are really. But to get to the 1375, you've got to go through the 12 teeth first, and it doesn't play that differently. Now this is what I mean. These shots here, that was just 2 shells completely wasted. I should not have tried to make that work. It doesn't have enough penetration to you know, the ISU doesn't, the SU rather, doesn't have fantastic armor, but it was hitting it. You know, I've got the penetration is insufficient. That was always going to bounce, and I was just stupid for even trying it. So I'm being really cautious here. I know I've got this guy's attention. I'm really hoping that T-34-1 would have come up before now, but he is finally moving, and there's the Jagdpanther in the middle as well. But even so, I'm effectively, for the moment, alone. Now, this is the occasion when, you know, I've said already there's no artillery in this game, and that's both a boon and a curse, because I can't then go, artillery, help me! Although at this stage of the game, I think artillery would have been focused on the cap anyway, so even if there had been RT, I probably wouldn't have had much help. So, yeah, I'm waiting at this point for the T-34, and, well, just... I'm going to do something really, really stupid in a moment. Now, I have a little peek down this side, and I think, oh, okay, don't spot him, pull back. I think this was a combination of possibly impatience, but also an awareness of the fact that they had 2 tanks on cap, and I can't get further up the map to decap. And here we go, this is the stupid thing. I pop out, and then I pop out again. I give him warning that I'm going to pop out, and I line myself up neatly for his shot. Now fortunately, you'll notice he doesn't have the derp. If he'd had the derp, I would have died. But even so, I've just lost half my hit points, and I've just had my engine damaged. And I've used my repair kit already, so I'm now pretty crippled speed-wise. It's not so bad going down slopes, but yeah, this is not good. This is British heavy tank speeds going uphill. So that Tiger's lit up. I know he's there. I know he's killable. I know I've got sufficient penetration, so I'm less worried about the Tiger. Although I do struggle to connect some of these shots, I must say. So that was just into his lower plate. He wasn't angled at all. I try a couple at his cupola and just miss. One bounced and the other just missed horribly. That shot, I don't know where that shot went. But there we go, finally finish him off. So you see already, I'm down to 11 shells. That's less than 2 clips. And the annoying thing with autoloaders is, even though it's less than, even if you're loading up those final shells and it's less than the full clip, it takes as long. Which is okay. Sometimes you do need to reload, and if you've got the one shot left and you've got the space to reload, and you know you're going to be facing more enemies, okay, then reload. but there is a penalty to pay in that you're going to end up with a less than full clip at the end, basically, and that can be crucial sometimes. So yeah, but I'm being really cautious here. I know there's an IS, and again, he's camping up in a spot where you wouldn't dare if there was artillery about. And just normally, I think you wouldn't dare anyway if there was any tank destroyers left to snipe at him, but we're down to it now. It's 13-12. There's not many tanks left. There's that T-29 who's a one-shot kill. He's pretty badly damaged, unfortunately. And I'm going to see if I can get this T-25-2. Now, that feels like it should have hit, but obviously it didn't. And I think this is one of those times when it's a French gun that should be accurate on paper, but it can sometimes feel less accurate than it should do. This is less of an issue now after patch 8.6, of course, but it's the curse of all French tanks. They've all got good penetration, but it's that combination of lowish alpha, at least up to a certain tier you get lowish alpha and pretty long aim times. But having said that, you get long aim times on the Soviet tanks as well. And yes, they have higher alpha, but generally lower accuracy. So, we're down to this last IS now. The T-29, I think he probably should have come at Pier as well, because 3-on-1 gave us better odds than 2-on-1. And I'm, you know, I've got 4 shots left, and this other guy's a medium, and he doesn't have the alpha. And I've got the burst damage, but again, I don't have the alpha. He's just taken a nasty shot there. And this is... I have to go quite far forward here because I don't have the gun elevation. But here we go. He's... You know, the jig is up for this guy. And here's where this burst damage can be effective. That's my last shell. And not quite enough to kill him, unfortunately. And the T-29 ends up getting him. So... yeah, it wasn't really a pretty match. It wasn't an elegant match in any way, shape or form. But 1950 damage, I think that's pretty respectable given the stats of this gun. Yeah, you just really have to be so opportunistic in these things. I mean, it's like any other light scout tank, but it's also these French ones, and there's the T-71 as well, of course. They're also unlike other light scout matchmaking tanks because of the autoloader factor. And the only way to really get your head around is to just if you think you're going to be interested in that style of play, it's like any other tank. You've just got to get out there and experience it, and watching guides will help, and knowing, you know, having a rough idea of how to use the tank will help, but nothing ever replaces experience. So yeah, if you liked this, don't forget to leave a comment or like or even subscribe if you really liked it. I have a Facebook page where you can find all my news and updates, and yeah, stay tuned for more.